My lovely boxer is really surprising, actually. I did not anticipate what I was gonna end up binging. Hi, I'm Monique. I am the host of Off by Purple Heart podcast. In today's episode, I want to talk about my lovely boxer. Oh, I didn't even do my whole little intro. Yes, so I love to talk about K-dramas, C-dramas, BTS, and anything else I want to talk about. And with my lovely boxer in particular, which is the second K-drama I've watched with my lovely in the title, the other being My Lovely Liar, which I've had a previous episode on my page about as well. My Lovely Boxer is really surprising to me because I did not anticipate it having that much of a dark tone to it. When I hear My Lovely Anything, even though there is a little bit dark subject matter, I really expected a more, I guess, slapsticky-ish type K-drama mold. But My Lovely Boxer definitely has a more mature feel to it. From what I understand, this has actually been adapted from a book, and the book is supposedly really good as well, and that might be something I would like to check out in the future. As far as main synopsis of this, and this episode, of course, will have some spoilers, at least for the first 6 episodes that I've watched so far, and I believe after I posted this episode, episodes 7 and 8 will probably be airing. But for the first 6 episodes, for a brief synopsis, we're dealing with the main characters, one being a retired boxer who I believe was a gold medalist, and she kind of goes MIA and disappears, and no one really knows the reason as to why. We also have a super agent who was once a pro baseball player, and he's gotten himself into quite a bit of trouble and owes quite a bit of debt, and also has, I believe, a sick mother as well that he's looking after, and he needs a lot of money, and he needs it quickly because those sharks are circling. So he is on a mission to recruit this retired boxer and get her back into the ring to kind of reclaim her glory. And as I said, like, I find the show in itself really surprising in the tone of it. I was not expecting the chemistry, because I will tell you, I had a really hard time with the first 2 episodes. I actually zoned out multiple times with the first episode, to the point where I think I fell asleep like 3 or 4 times with the first one. It was just not what I initially signed up for, and I really did not like it. And maybe it's no fault of the show, maybe it's just me, maybe it was my headspace at the time, but for the first episode and maybe the first 3/4 of episode 2, I just really wasn't into it at all. And I was about to drop it, and then there was the final scene of episode 2 where the agent gives this impassioned plea to the boxer to say, I need you, let's do this. And it's really cinematic. It was really beautifully shot. The scoring of the scene too was just really visceral, and it was so beautiful and it was so emotional that it really hooked me. And I said, okay, I'm gonna keep going then, because I think there's something here. And from that point on, the show really picks up. So episode 3 to episode 6, you really start to get the heart of the show. We get to truly get the interactions, and the fight scenes are actually really well choreographed. And in particular, whenever there's like boxing or wrestling matches, even if it's fictitious, my heart kind of races depending on how well it's filmed and choreographed. And I feel nervous for the characters, even though this is all fictionalized. The first fight that she gets back in the ring for is really, really good. And the character that she's fighting against is like a social media type boxer. She's like an influencer, and she's very arrogant and very cocky. And you know that the boxer is going to win, yet you're left really nervous because of how tightly shot it is. And it's just filmed in a way that almost left me kind of breathless, and I really got into it, and I was like, okay, I really am starting to gel with this show. And the relationship and the chemistry between her and the agent actually gets a lot better. The agent himself seems a really interesting gray kind of character. He's really unscrupulous. He's very aggressive in his approach and how he's getting the resources to get these matches lined up. And there's a bit of foreshadowing because the boxer does agree to fight again, but only for a couple of matches, just so that she can have it rigged in her favor to lose, so that she falls out of public favor and that people no longer are speculating about her life, no longer trying to dig up information about her, and no longer trying to like draw her out from the shadows kind of thing. Just kind of glow out in a blaze of glory and then finally be able to have a normal life. I believe in the show she's 23 and she's very naive. She's very, not naive in the sense of how she is as a professional fighter, but more of a naivete in her general life, that she doesn't have a lot of dating experience, and she's kind of innocent in that sense, and she wants to find love, be in a relationship, kind of settle down, white picket fence, all that, yada yada. And the plan is for her, after these two major fights, the first one what we've already witnessed in the show, after the second one, to kind of let that be that. And the show is already foreshadowing that whatever dealings that this agent is involved in, it probably is not going to be just those two matches, and I can see her having a major showdown with him and breaking that level of trust. So he's a little bit seedy, he's a little bit unscrupulous, and he has that anti-hero angle. There's also a bit of visible age difference between the two of them. I don't know how old he's supposed to be in the show, but I assume that he's in his mid to late 30s, and her being 23, but the chemistry is chemistrying. I'm telling you already, like, the romance is already romancing. I'm enjoying their interactions, especially after episode 3. And I think it was episode 5 where they're frolicking in a beach together and he kind of playfully dunks her into the ocean. And it's really good. I saw the vision for it and I was like, oh yeah, I'm locked in. I'm ready for the romance just because of that interaction as well. And the show definitely takes dark turns very quickly, yet it doesn't feel abrupt. I feel like with the entire genre of like K-dramas in general, and this is a problem I have, even though I've watched so many of them, I feel like a lot of them, tonal shifts are really hard to do well. I feel like with shows that are supposed to be comedies but kind of sprinkle in darkness, it's fine. I actually think some of the best comedies should have darker elements in it to kind of capture all human emotion and make it really work. But I feel like the tone shift is too much. Like, you'll literally be like witnessing a gruesome murder, and then next thing you'll have the next scene, it's like sunshine, there's like birds chirping, and there's like a twinkling like acoustic guitar in the background, and they're like doing cutesy faces with each other and that type of stuff. And you're just kind of like, what the hell just happened here? With this show, I feel like it tackles both comedy really well, and it tackles the darker elements really well, even though it shocks you. Like on episode 6, for example, like one of the ending shots is the agent getting choked out by one of these sharks, and and him getting a TKO. And it just feels different. I don't know how else to describe it, but this K-drama, it feels different. The way it's filmed feels different, even though it has clearly the main love interest, which is going to be, I assume, the agent, and then there's the second male lead who kind of raises suspicion for me. Like, I watch him and some of the things he said, and I think we're supposed to like him, but I don't, because one of the first interactions that we see with him and the female lead, he's basically like, yeah, I'm not really into women being fighters and boxers. I don't really find it that attractive. Sorry, like, no offense, like, but he's supposed to be someone that she's interested in, and it's kind of glossed over, and I'm like, But there's just something about the way that this show is. It just feels different. And I'm actually really glad that I stuck it out and I wasn't just turned off. Because if I was just going by how I felt by the first episode alone, I wouldn't be at episode 6. I wouldn't have watched it. I was so bored. I think episode 1 is absolutely the weakest, even though it sets up the story and is really dark in itself. I was just like, meh. I was not into it. I was falling asleep like multiple times. As I said, it could have been just my mindset that particular day. May not even be at fault of the show, but episode 1 did not work for me. But because I stuck it through, the end of episode 2 really made it stick and land with me. And now I'm really, really fascinated. And as I'm recording this episode, the new episodes are going to be airing the following Monday. So I'm very, very excited. So I believe I'm going to do a follow-up to this show and later episodes. I really, really am looking forward to it. The chemistry, I love chemistry so much. I love it so much, especially with two people who seem to get so irritated with each other. Because I wouldn't even call it enemies to lovers per se. She's more exasperated with him, and he has his own angle, his own, subplot, his own reasons as to why. But I almost think it's like found family kind of dynamic, kind of not even rivals to lovers. I don't know what trope it is exactly, or it's just a trope of having, the trainer and the athlete kind of thing. I don't know what it is, but I just know that their dynamic, there's something about it that just kind of tickles me, and the chemistry is good. And even the way he'll like lean into her sometimes, it's just, oof, it just hits that sweet spot. And the lead actress, she just has a beautiful smile too. That's cheesy to say, but she does. And he's cute. He's really, really cute. I like him. So that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching. If you're watching via YouTube, please don't be afraid to subscribe, share, leave any comments if you'd like, if you have picked up my lovely boxer and what do you think of it. And if you're listening to the audio version of this on Spotify or other podcasts, I appreciate you as well. Please share. Anyways, to the next episode. Bye.